Hey, it's me, Beatdown's Fights back. This is gonna be the last video for today. I got 5 fights this time. So basically, the first 2 videos I do 6 fights, and the last one I do 5 fights to not to make it too long for videos. So I basically did this channel back in BC, and now I'm in Windsor. So I still do these fights, and I basically enjoy doing these. And so, for example, if I take like the Hulkbuster, and I put the Hulkbuster up against the basically versus Shockwave, or Deadpool versus John Wick, or Eve Macaro versus Deckard Shaw. So let's get to it. So the fights got here. The first one is the Balrog against the Hulkbuster. After that fight, I got the Reek from Star Wars against Cocaine Bear. After that one, it's a newcomer, and her name is Mama from the Evil Dead Rise movie. But against Chris McNeil from The Exorcist. Sorry. After that one, I got Eve Macaro against Jonas from the Meg 2. And the last fight, I got the Megalodon against the Cooley Clawfish and OPC Killer. But who wins these fights? Gonna find out. So the thing with the Balrog from the Lord of the Rings here is obviously very big and strong as that whip. Like the thing is with the Balrog is obviously very, very powerful here. Basically, the Balrog is obviously very powerful, but the thing is though, it's its size here. But the Hulkbuster is obviously very physically strong here. Basically, fighting against Hulk type characters like Hulk himself or Call Obsidian. So Hulkbuster does have advanced tech here. You can definitely win this fight. So basically, you can fight against Hulk type characters. I can see the Hulkbuster beating the Balrog here. Basically, use the repulsor blasts or rockets to win the fight. It's not just I'm being biased because the Hulkbuster is my favorite armor of Iron Man, but because the Hulkbuster is basically strong, but I think the advanced tech also it has to take down the Balrog. It is a close fight, but I think the Hulkbuster would win that fight. So this one's an interesting fight. It's Tariq from Star Wars against Cocaine Bear. So I don't know if YouTube will allow me to talk about cocaine, but it is Cocaine Bear. So basically, in the Cocaine Bear movie, the only true thing about it was a dealer was just throwing cocaine on the plane, and that was kind of it. It was basically based on a true story. But it's the only true thing about the movie. So basically, when I think it was a grizzly bear or something like that got into cocaine, it basically went on a rampage after that. So basically, Cocaine Bear itself is very strong now. It's obviously very fast and downright ruthless. So basically, you can pick up the park ranger and throw her too. But because Tariq from Star Wars is basically very big, it has tough skin, I don't know if Cocaine Bear would do much damage with its claws. Plus, I think the main factor for the Tariq here is those horns. It's not just I'm being biased though, but because Tariq is very strong, I still think Tariq would win that fight. So this is an interesting fight. It's Mama from the Evil Dead Rise against Chris McNeil. So you might be thinking, yeah, this isn't fair. Mama wins. So Mama from Evil Dead Rise is obviously very strong here, but she's definitely very, very, very fast. But because the thing with Chris McNeil, she didn't even do much in that movie. All she did was just basically, jump in words, she felt helpless to help her daughter. So basically, her daughter was named as Regan, and she was getting possessed by Pazuzu. And yeah, Chris didn't really do much, but I can see Chris winning fights though. Like, she can just throw her fists around. But she was tough enough to take a basically point blank. Like, it's kind of like a blaster shot slap from her daughter Regan. So basically, I don't want to go in disturbing detail, but basically when it was like a backhand slap, and Regan did that this with pure force, and basically Chris just fell on the floor. So that's how durable Chris is. But because Chris, I can see her just throw on fists, but I still think because Mama can overpower Chris here because she didn't really do a whole lot. So yeah, I think because of that, I think Mama would win that fight. So the next fight is Eve Macaro against Jonas from the Meg 2. So I think between the two here, Jonas is obviously a very skilled fighter. He was played by one of my favorite actors, Jason Statham. But Jonas himself had skill with his fists, but he had explosive rods. But because the thing with Eve Macaro, she's obviously way more skilled, but she's obviously the better fighter. Like, just more ruthless, but she can basically win fights with her skill and durability. So yeah, I think Eve would win that fight. So the last fight is the Megalodon against the Kulu Clawfish and OPC Killer. So basically, the Kulu Clawfish was obviously bigger than the OPC Killer. And actually, basically, I don't want to make people scared, ripped apart OPC Killer. But because this is a tag team of these two fictional underwater monsters, the Clawfish is obviously very big and tear things apart. Like, the OPC Killer's only thing it's going for here is basically that thick, long tongue and basically grab other things and pretty much bite it into its mouth. But because the thing with the Megalodon, just how cool these things are, the Megalodon is still one of my favorite fictional monsters in fiction. I think these things are really cool. But it's obviously a really big shark. But the Megalodon is very aggressive and very fast. But because between the Megalodon and the Clawfish and OPC Killer, so basically I can see the OPC Killer like launching out that long tongue and grab the Megalodon, and then the Clawfish can just rip it in half. Because it did do that in the Phantom Menace with the OPC Killer. Again, I'm not trying to scare kids or anyone, but because I can see the OPC Killer just grabbing or just wrapping around or basically grabbing the Megalodon with the tongue, and the OPC Killer can get in and clean things up. So yeah, I think the Kulu Clawfish and the OPC Killer are winning that fight. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, so bye for now.